It is Saturday night, March 19th, about 11 p.m. And just going to record a video on what I'm expecting in some of these pairs coming up next week. And boy, it was quite a week with FOMC and a lot of other stuff, some really big volatile moves. Hopefully everybody took advantage of some of those. I'm not expecting quite as much fireworks this week. There's not a lot of major stuff on the calendar, but certainly there is some things to keep an eye on. So I'm just going to go through these as quickly as I can. Some I'll talk about more than others, but so let's start with pound yen. The 2-hour chart here shows an ABC correction to this downtrend in progress, so I am expecting this to continue up a bit more, and then we'll expect this downtrend to continue. So, so again, to me, this is looking like an ABC, and we're still going up here. So if you're long this pair, look for this to end at some point and the downtrend to continue. So I probably will wait on this and let this correction play out before I consider any more shorts. Let's see. The on pound Canadian, again, looks to be a possible wave C in progress of an ABC correction. We have this downtrend in progress here, and this looks to be probably an A, B, and now we're going up for wave C. So kind of similar to the pound yen that would be looking for to go short at the end of this correction. So that's pound Canadian. Pretty much the same story for pound Aussie. It looks to be in a wave C up. And so this has got a little ways to go. We're probably about halfway through the wave C, maybe a little bit more than that. And we'll be looking to short this once that completes. And again, pretty much same story here on pound Swiss. This looks to be potentially a wave 4 on this one. I have this label as a 1, 2, 3, and this would be 4. Although technically this probably violates an Elliott rule because this wave 4 is into the price action of wave 1. So more than likely this is probably an end of a trend here, and we're in an ABC correction up. But either way, I expect this to go back down again after this correction finishes. So so again, very similar to the other pound pairs. And for pound dollar, again, pretty much the same thing. Although this one I don't like quite as much, but it does look like it certainly is in a correction to a downtrend. But again, I'm not as favorable on this one as I am on some of the other pound pairs. US Swiss, well, after this big move down after FOMC, looks like the market's going to take a pause here, and looks like we are in a correction to this downtrend. So I am expecting this to consolidate. There isn't a lot of dollar news this week. There is some later in the week, so I don't really know how much this is going to move this week. In fact, if anything, I think this will drift upwards, and then at some point we'll probably see the downtrend continue. But this is probably going to be, I would think, a fairly quiet pair for most of this week. Although, again, I do think it'll go up, and this could be the beginning of a wave C to the upside. But I'm not sure. There's not really a lot going on in dollar pairs. And so this looks to be, a 1, 2, 3. So, again, we'll go up for 4 and then down for 5 on the 4-hour chart. So I am expecting a correction and then back down again. Let me see. Taking my notes here now. So US Canadian, again, I think we're probably in a corrective move here to the upside after a pretty significant down move here. This is the 3-hour chart. Let's see if we can get a little better picture here. This looks like to be maybe some kind of 1, 2, 3. And so I am expecting, again, this to go up. Again, not my favorite pair. But again, if you do trade this, expect this to go up more and then eventually come back down. US yen, again, boy, I did pretty well on this pair this week. As expected, it broke out of this triangle, which we had been watching for about the last 2 weeks. And you can see it came almost near to the apex of this triangle and then broke out. And again, based on the fact that the measurement out of the triangle, a good target is to measure the widest part of the triangle, which is out here. It's about 360 pips. So if you take a measurement off of this high, 360 pips takes you just about back to these lows. So I am expecting probably one more move down, which will probably retest these lows here, and then that's it. This trend will be over. So if you're looking to short US yen, wait for the end of this correction and then go down. But again, understanding that it's probably only going to go, about 60 to 80 pips before it's over. So nothing wrong with 60 to 80 pips, but just be aware this is probably not going to be a long move down. But it did work out exactly as the triangle suggested it would. So this was my best trade of the week. So anyways, Aussie yen on the 12-hour, it's showing a possible wave 4 still in progress here. So that there could be a small short here on the let me see here. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, so there could be a small short down here. Here down in the 2-hour, this looks maybe to be an ABC, and going down here and then back up for wave 5 on this longer term trend. Looks to be probably in a wave 4, and we'll go back up for wave 5. So I would expect a little bit more downside here. This will probably maybe just drift lower and then back up. So I'm not looking to trade this to the downside. The trend is up on the longer term chart here, on the 4-hour in particular. So I would just wait for an end of a correction and then look to go long. You may have a violation of this trend line to the upside to suggest that the downtrend has ended. So, and it's pretty much the same story on the Aussie Canadian. Looks like we're in a correction to an uptrend. Again, it's still drifting lower. May go a little bit more, or we'll probably take some positive Aussie news to kick this back to the upside. So we will let that ride for now. Aussie dollar, almost the exact same story. Again, we're looking for some positive Aussie news to push this back to the upside. But in the meantime, we're probably just going to drift lower under this trend line. So Kiwi dollar looks like it ended a correction on, say, the 12-hour chart. Looks like we broke out here. We had some positive Kiwi news last week that broke this out to the upside. Looks like we're taking a pause here, and we'll be looking to go long again once we break through here. So, on the longer term chart, on the weekly chart here, the Kiwi was still looking in a downtrend. This does look like to continue to be a correction to a downtrend, but we may go higher. This could be basically a wave C in progress to the upside, but this is a weekly chart, so a wave C up can take you pretty far. And so I really would only be looking for longs in this market right now, at least probably for the next several weeks, as this longer term correction plays out. All the euro pairs are pretty much the same. Again, this is euro yen, and this looks to still be in a correction to an uptrend. It's a little bit different than the other euro pairs, but I certainly would expect that we'll move back to the upside on this pair. We're certainly in a correction here. We had pretty much a perfect 5-wave trend ended here. Now it looks like we're in an ABC down. So again, it'll take some good euro news or some negative yen news, which I don't think there's really any on the docket. So it'll take some positive euro news to push this back to the upside. In the meantime, we'll probably drift on this wave C down underneath this trend line. And we could just be in the early part of wave C by the looks of the lower time frames here. we're probably going to drift lower here. So I'm not going to be looking to trade this short. I'm just going to sit and wait for this to break back to the upside. Euro Kiwi. Let me see. Yeah, the weekly chart shows basically an ABC. So we have this. So we go out to the monthly. Obviously, on the monthly chart, we're in a substantial downtrend. And then it looks like this is probably, I'm reading this as on the weekly chart as an ABC. So we have A, B, and then we're probably going to go up for C. So that would fall in line with these euro pairs all moving to the upside. Let's go down to the hourly chart. So on the hourly chart, it looks like we're still correcting. And this probably is going to go down some more. Looks like we'll break this trend line. And this could basically be an end of a wave C at some point, and then this will go back up. So, I'm not looking to trade Euro Kiwi right now. I think it probably will break lower for a while, and before we turn back to the upside. And again, I'm looking at this as a wave C. That's going to go up. Here we have A, B, and now C. And so we'll see. The euro pairs are overall fairly bullish right now, but certainly there are going to be corrections. So this one's a little less clear than the other ones. Okay, Eurodollar. Again, it looks like we're probably going to head to a wave 5 on this uptrend here. We had this breakout here, and now we're consolidating lower. And again, it looks like we're trading down here. We'll probably drift lower, and I will be sitting back waiting for something to push higher back through this trend line and back to the upside again. So, hopefully you made some pips on this with FOMC this past week, pushing this thing higher. This was FOMC right here, and so this uptrend is not over. We got CCI here. You can see compressed and going up, and now coming down, spread apart. So we're going to wait for this. This will probably drift back down to this area, and then we'll see it compress back to the upside. So, be looking for longs on Eurodollar at some point this week, probably on positive Euro news, because again, there's not a lot of dollar news on the docket. So, but that will go back to the upside. Euro Canadian looks a lot like Euro Kiwi in the fact that we certainly had some impulsive move up from FOMC this week, but that we're now drifting back to the downside. And so I am expecting to see this drift back down a little bit more before we resume the uptrend. So this will probably come back down, test these lows, this is the 30-minute chart, and then probably see this move back to the upside. So it's a lot like Euro Kiwi in that respect, that overall we probably have an uptrend, but we're correcting to the downside right now. The weekly chart of the Euro Canadian looks like it does show a potential wave B in progress. And once this B finishes, we'll go back to the upside, and then that's probably what we're seeing here is the wave B down in progress. So Euro Aussie, again, very similar to Eurodollar in that we had an impulsive move up, and now we're drifting lower, and I do expect that we will come down some more here. This is the 4-hour chart. On the 1 hour, 30-minute, we'll probably break to the downside here and kind of just continue to correct down, but eventually expect this trend line to be broke and the prices to push back up again. So the 3 and 4 hour chart gives you a really nice view of that. And so this is probably in a wave C of this correction down, probably will drift for a while, and then we'll see this pop back to the upside. So you certainly could look for shorts on the shorter time frames here. Probably does have some downside opportunity. Could be 60 to 100 pips in here. I'm probably not going to take them. Just going to wait this out and see if we can get a break back to the upside off of these pairs based on what we're seeing. And again, the longer term trends here are a little indecisive. you know, monthly chart shows a long downtrend, and this is possibly an ABC to the upside. So I do think it has a lot of upside potential. Oops. Although in the longer term, it's probably going to go down again. The fundamentals certainly for the euro are not positive, but it looks like we may take a pause from that for a while. So I'd be looking for longs, and once this correction ends. Last but not least is pound Kiwi, and I don't know why this is way over here on this end instead of back over with my other pound pairs, but nevertheless, this looks like this is a correction to this downtrend, and it looks like it's just about over. So this looks like a nice ABC here. It may go back up a little bit more. This looks like let's see here, we can label this A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this probably will go back up a little bit and then we'll fall back. So I'd be looking, I don't think I would short it quite yet. CCI suggests that there's still some upside to go here. So, but we'll watch it. This, perhaps was, maybe this was wave 4 and we had a little wave 5, and we are going to go back down. So I would say if it violates this low here, somewhere down here, then that could suggest that the correction has ended. But if this level holds, we may go back up for another bounce and then down. So keep an eye on this one this week. This could be a nice trade on this pair, which, as you know, is loaded with pips, but you got to trade it right. And I'm very hesitant to trade this pair because if you're wrong, it hurts. But if you're right, it's a sweet thing. So, and if it does break to the downside, and even if it only retests this low, that's 350 pips, and this is only a 20-minute chart. So it is loaded with pips if you can hit it right. So there you go. That's the last pair. Just looking at the calendar really quick. Again, not a lot going on. There's a lot of orange on here, but I don't know how well these will move the market. This RBA Stevens doesn't really look like he's talking about monetary policy. He's just talking about global financial Australian securities. I'm not expecting that's going to move anything. But any one of these euro ones, although these are not really big ones, but this German IFO business climate, they show this in red. I don't know if I remember this one really being a market mover, but any of these could be a potential to end the corrections on the euro pairs. To me right now, the biggest one is this GBP on Tuesday morning. Now they are expecting this to be positive, an increase over the previous one, 0.4 over 0.3. But the pound pairs look like they're correcting up. So depending what they does the first day or two of the week, if this comes out positive, then that could push them up for the last piece of their correction. But if it comes out worse than expected, it could end the correction. So we'll just have to see what it looks like. But for the pound, this looks like the piece of news that will make it different. So, and we have Euro, German ZEW economic statement a half hour later on Tuesday. Again, any of these could be a catalyst for these euro pairs. So keep an eye on that and just see where the market is at those times. For the dollar, it's really not a lot. You got crude oil inventories, trade balance. Crude oil inventories for the U.S. dollar. We'll see. Sometimes that can help. I think maybe sometimes it moves the Canadian pairs more, but we'll see. Kiwi trade balance. Again, this certainly could be a market mover. I have to see where the pair is. Is the uptrend finished, and this will trigger a correction down, or will it be in a correction and this will push us back to the upside? But this is one to watch to be a market mover for the Kiwi on Wednesday. And then we have Thursday, we have pound retail sales. Again, whether it's this move on the pound or the one up here on CPI, I think the CPI would be a bigger mover. But again, one of these could trigger off a move on the pound. So we'll see. targeted LTRO on the euro. Who knows? Sometimes this has an effect, sometimes it doesn't. And really, the last thing is Friday morning. You have final GDP for the dollar. So I'm not expecting, you have durable good orders here on Thursday as well. But again, if the dollar does anything, any larger moves on the dollar pairs, it probably won't come until Thursday or Friday. So, because these are and heading into the Easter weekend, so the U.S. markets will be probably quieter than usual on Friday, especially. So, heading into the Easter weekend here in the U.S. Um, so so that's it. Like I said, dollar pairs, not expecting the dollar to really drive much this week until later. But I think the euro and the pound pairs will probably be your best bet in terms of where there'll be any pips this week. So that's what I'd be concentrating on, and potentially Kiwi, depending where it is at the time this is released. So that's it, guys. Hope that helped. Sorry for the long video, and good luck this week. And